The first dilemma is from Alexander Boschbrink. Good day, Jordan. I've been a follower of your channel for a couple of years now, and I feel like we have grown together as people side by side, for which I truly appreciate. Likewise to you, bro. I really appreciate the continued support for me and my channel. That doesn't just go to you, that applies to everyone who's followed me for however long you followed me for. While I'm on my grind with uni, writing, art, and training, these past months, the possibility of relationships have entered my mind as I am now in my 20s, and it's usually a central time for many in that area. During my teen years and up until now, I was never interested in any of the girls at school because, while they were attractive, we did not share the same mindset nor interests. Of course, there was mutual respect and we could always casually talk and laugh with each other, but there wasn't anything more to it than that. It wasn't until recently that I took the time to really think about what I wanted in a potential relationship. I made a list of 4 criteria, and I asked myself if my standards were too high, and that logically so, since my interest in others was so rare and far in between. I came to the conclusion that no, they weren't. Why? Because I myself lived up to those standards. If I'm a living embodiment of it, then surely they can't be unrealistic, right? Essentially, what I wanted was somebody who was also into healthy eating and exercise, had a relatively stable life, a job, or studying, not addicted or dependent on validation from social media, and could think/speak for herself. Everything else than that could be pretty much anything, as long as we have a mutually good vibe and respect for each other at the end of the day. I have to admit that for many years I felt like I'd never really be in a relationship because I always wondered not only who I would love in that way, but who would also love me back in that same regard, while also at the same time there being mutual physical attraction. Let's not undermine that point since it does play a role. I was always the odd one out growing up since others my age didn't practice the same habits as I did. So I don't expect to find many girls my age to do so as well. I also had and still got the philosophy that if there's anything that makes you feel lonely, it's spending time with someone whose company you do not truly enjoy. My question for you, Jordan, is, do you personally think, from an outsider's point of view, that my standards are too high? And in your case, do you believe in compromising certain aspects of yourself to find your true love? Or do you lean more into staying true to yourself no matter what, even if it means a smaller chance of getting into a relationship? Thank you for the wisdom and interesting insights you've provided to me these past years, my friend. I wish you a life of inner peace. Greetings from Sweden. Okay, Alexander, so first of all, there's something that really stuck out to me here, and I believe it was in the 3rd paragraph. You said that you don't expect to find many girls your age who practice the same habits as you. Now, these are the types of beliefs that block us from finding love. A lot of times that's literally it. Remember, love is always trying to come to you. That is the nature of humanity. Love is the fabric of reality. Without love, there would be no humans. We would be extinct. So understand that oftentimes we're simply blocking love from ourselves. That's literally all we're doing. We're blocking love from ourselves by having these cynical expectations. Now, I'm not saying that you're a bad person for having cynical expectations. I believe that most men in this day and age, and women on top of that, have cynical expectations because there's so much negative information being spread out there. For example, there's this idea that women who practice these self-development habits or who have their lives together are few and far in between. And this is simply not true. The vast majority of women that I've interacted with in my life generally had their lives together. Does that mean that they were perfect? Absolutely not. But neither was I. And I'm not perfect right now either. Understand that when it comes to finding love, more often than not, it's about allowing love rather than actively seeking it out. Now, you did yourself a favor by taking the time to accurately assess what you want in a partner. And I think that a lot of people, they struggle to allow love into their lives because there is a discrepancy between what they think they want and what they actually want. Or better yet, what they actually need in a partner. What would actually complement them and their personalities. A lot of times, men think that they want these submissive women, submissive, cooperative, whatever you want to call it, agreeable. But really, they need somebody who can pull their own weight. They're not looking for a cheerleader, they're looking for a teammate. That's something I realized about myself. I didn't want a cheerleader. I wanted somebody who could pull their own weight and who was willing to pull their own weight. That doesn't mean that we need to be a power couple, but I just wanted somebody who was actively trying to better her own life rather than waiting on me to better her life for her, if you catch my drift. And I was able to find that. I'm saying this to say that you need to take the time, obviously you've already done it, but anybody else watching this, you need to take the time to do what Alexander did and really assess what you want in a partner. Literally write it down. The power of writing something down cannot be understated or undermined. You have to take the time to write it down and imprint that in your subconscious mind. Read it every single day and take the time to imagine every day, imagine what it would be like, how your life would change if you found a woman who fit those criteria. Think about what you would do with that sort of woman and how it would feel to do those sort of things with that type of woman. If you guys are both into nature and hiking, then it's pretty reasonable to assume that you would hike together. Think about how that would feel if you went hiking with somebody who loves hiking just as much as you do. Or in your case, for example, Alexander, you like art and writing. And if you could find somebody who's also into those things, or really who's into something of her own that maybe is parallel with your hobbies or passions, then you'd be surprised at how much that could improve the dynamic of the relationship. When you can talk to somebody about something that you're so passionate about and your words don't fall upon deaf ears, because they genuinely understand how you feel and they can give you genuine, heartfelt insights because they understand you. You see, I believe that we all seek understanding and appreciation in relationships. We all seek understanding and appreciation no matter who you are. And for you, Alexander, like I said, it's good that you already wrote it down, but you're also blocking your blessings by having this expectation that that's rare and that you won't find that. And even if it is statistically rare, you're statistically rare as well. You see, this is something that I had to realize a while back, was that the types of women that I was looking for, it seemed like I was struggling to find them, but then I had to realize that those types of women are probably struggling to find someone like me as well. I'm an anomaly, and you're an anomaly. Anybody who's watching this channel is an anomaly because you're actively seeking to level up. The average person is not watching a self-development channel. Plain and simple. They're not watching videos about how to heal and how to do shadow work. They're not watching these types of videos. The average person doesn't go to the gym. The average person doesn't eat healthy. The average person isn't trying to elevate their lives and expand their horizons. So by you watching this channel, you have to understand that you are an anomaly. You're an anomaly and you are just as much of a catch as they are. It's not about men or women being the prize. You're both the prize. You are a prize looking for another prize and vice versa. But when it comes to actively allowing this into your life, allowing this sort of love to enter your life, it starts with you shifting your paradigm and understanding that those types of women are only as rare as you make them out to be. Because remember, you're rare as well. So if you have a select group of people on one side seeking out a select group of people from another side, then realistically, the people who are in that select group, they're not looking at the rest of those guys. They're not looking at the guys who aren't on their purpose, who aren't in the gym, who aren't working on themselves, and vice versa, right? So you have a select group seeking out a select group. The reason why it's difficult for you to find that type of person is probably because you're not putting yourself out there enough. You need to focus on doing the things that you love to do as much as you possibly can, putting yourself out in that way, and you're going to naturally run across women who are into the same things as you are. Will it happen tomorrow? It could, but maybe it won't. It might take a few years, and that's okay. You see, Alexander, you're what? 22 years old. You're 22 years old, and I understand that you're at that age, because I was that age literally last year. You're at that age where you're seeing people around you getting cuffed up, and you feel like you're falling behind. But once you get in a relationship, you'll realize that you're actually still very young. Because when the prospect of, for example, having children and starting a family comes up, then you realize that, I can't speak on your behalf, I can only speak for myself, but you'll probably realize that, oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm 22, right? So understand that at 22 years old, you're right where you're supposed to be. Even if you found the love of your life at 35 years old, you're still young. you're still statistically not even halfway through your life yet. And to add to that, I absolutely do not believe that your standards are too high. I believe that everyone should have high standards. I believe that everyone should be as specific as they can possibly be, because you're thinking about who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And you don't want to mess that decision up. There are a lot of people out there who picked the wrong person haphazardly because they were lonely and because they felt like they needed that companionship at the time, and they end up with somebody who destroys everything that they've worked to build. And it's not the other person's fault, it's their fault for choosing the wrong person. You have to be willing to be patient enough to stand on your standards.